1. Dreams without discipline are just decorations. Everybody wants to be great, but not everybody wants to grind. You don't get to the top by dreaming alone. You get there by disciplining yourself when nobody's watching. You wake up early, stay late, and outwork yesterday's version of you. Dreams are the vision, but discipline is the vehicle. If you don't bring both, success will stay a stranger. 2. If you're not willing to be uncomfortable, you're not ready to be unstoppable. Success ain't cute, it's uncomfortable, it's lonely, it's cold showers, missed parties, and hard choices. If you're chasing ease, don't expect excellence. You've got to be willing to be stretched, to be criticized, to be broken and built again, because comfort never made a conqueror. 3. Faith isn't a feeling, it's a foundation. When the lights go out and the applause fades, what keeps you moving forward? It's faith. Not the kind that feels good, but the kind that keeps going when it doesn't. Faith is trusting the process when you don't see the progress. It's walking in purpose when the path looks like pain. Success demands you believe it before you see it. 4. Consistency eats talent for breakfast. Talent can make you impressive for a moment, but consistency makes you impactful for a lifetime. Every day you show up, every rep you put in, every small choice, you're building momentum. Success don't come in a flash. It comes in the quiet grind of daily decisions. Be relentless, be consistent, be undeniable. 1. Dreams without discipline are just decorations. A dream, no matter how beautiful, no matter how grand, is nothing more than a mental mural without discipline. It's a decoration for the mind, a fantasy painted in colors of potential, but hung on the wall of inactivity. People dream of success, of wealth, of impact. They talk about goals like they've already been granted, speak of futures they've never worked for, and recite affirmations without action. But success never bows to dreams alone. It only answers to discipline. Because the truth is, dreaming is free, but discipline will cost you everything. Discipline is the price tag success requires. It's the cold, unrelenting structure that gives shape to what would otherwise drift away in the winds of distraction and delay. It's the ability to say no when everything in you wants to say yes to ease. It's waking up early when your body craves more sleep, showing up when it would be easier to stay home, and doing the work when the applause has long stopped. Discipline doesn't care how you feel, it only demands that you show up every single day. Many chase inspiration, but inspiration is fleeting. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is the anchor when motivation walks out. It's what keeps you lacing up your shoes when you'd rather lie down. It's what keeps you studying when everyone else is scrolling. It's what keeps you writing when the words won't flow, practicing when the progress seems slow, grinding when the results still look invisible. The disciplined understand something most people never do. Success doesn't show up suddenly. It's sculpted daily, in the shadows of repetition, in the hours that feel thankless, in the decisions that nobody else sees. You can have the greatest dream in the world to build a company, write a book, become a world-class athlete, transform your community, but without discipline, those dreams will wither. They will die in the graveyard of good intentions. People don't fail for lack of vision, they fail for lack of consistency. They fail because they wanted the reward without the routine. They wanted the crown without the commitment. They wanted to shine without the grind. And the world doesn't work like that. Discipline doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. It means doing it scared, doing it tired, doing it uncertain. It means embracing boredom, repetition, and pain. It means saying, I will, when I want to, disappears. Discipline strips you of excuses and confronts you with the truth. If it really matters to you, you'll make Timino just wish for more of it. And that means cutting the fluff, saying no to distraction, removing what doesn't serve your mission, not just once, but daily. Because discipline isn't something you do, it's someone you become. What separates the dreamers from the doers is not brilliance, it's not talent, it's not even opportunity, it's discipline. It's the invisible grind that compounds into visible greatness. That's what most people miss. They see someone rise to the top and assume it was luck, assume it was natural, assume it was easy. What they don't see are the years of showing up when nobody cared. The nights of working while others slept, the days of doubt that were overruled by commitment, the lonely roads of discipline that were walked long before the spotlight ever found them. You can tell the difference between a person who has discipline and a person who doesn't in how they respond to resistance. The undisciplined see resistance as a stop sign. The disciplined see it as a doorway. They don't retreat from pressure, they lean into it. They don't run from repetition, they embrace it. Because they understand that excellence isn't exotic. It's engineered through the mundane. Through showing up when it's hard. Through finishing what was started. Through refusing to negotiate with weakness. Discipline is the great equalizer. You might not have the best resources, but you can be the most consistent. You might not have the most talent, but you can bring the most effort. You might not start ahead, but you can stay late. Success isn't about where you begin, it's about what you build. And if you want to build something that lasts, it must be framed in discipline. The real war is not with the world, it's with the voice in your head that says, "Not today." The inner saboteur that whispers, "You've done enough," when deep down, you know you haven't. Discipline silences that voice with action. It replaces feelings with follow-through. It doesn't seek comfort, it seeks completion. And in that quiet daily obedience to purpose, discipline becomes your superpower. You can decorate your life with dream boards and journals, goals and mantras, but without the grit of discipline, they become distractions in disguise. They give the illusion of progress while masking the absence of action. Discipline clears the fog. It says, forget how it looks, focus on how it lives, because anything you want must be paid for. Not with money, but with sweat, with hours, with habits, with hunger. Discipline is a lonely path, but it's the only path. You will lose people, you will lose comfort, you will lose the luxury of excuses, but you will gain self-respect, you will gain results, you will gain momentum. The road to success isn't glamorous. It's paved with the bricks of boring choices, waking up early, saying no to temporary pleasure, choosing focus over fun. But that road, though narrow, leads to everything you said you wanted. In a world of instant gratification, discipline is rebellion. It's the slow burn in a culture obsessed with shortcuts. It's the long game in a world that only values highlights. The disciplined are the ones who build empires while others are still making excuses. They aren't more special, they're just more consistent. They didn't wait to feel ready, they got up and started moving. Because they knew that success isn't waiting at the finish line, it's hiding in the small decisions along the way. The difference between people who admire success and people who achieve it lies in what they do when it's hard. The dreamers quit when the road turns rocky. The disciplined keep climbing. Not because they enjoy pain, but because they've decided their purpose is bigger than their preference. They don't depend on perfect conditions, they dominate in imperfect ones. They don't require applause, they run on accountability. Discipline teaches you how to trust yourself. Every time you follow through, every time you complete the task, every time you show up despite resistance, you teach your mind that you are dependable, that you do what you say, that you can be trusted with responsibility. And that is where confidence is born, not from compliments, but from consistency, not from hype, but from habits. People think discipline limits you. It's the opposite. It liberates you. It frees you from the chaos of inconsistency, the weight of regret, and the shame of potential wasted. It gives you control, clarity, and courage. Discipline gives you the power to choose your future instead of just surviving your present. Discipline is also the cure to distraction. We live in a world addicted to everything: immediate scrolling, binging, reacting. But discipline disconnects you from that noise. It brings you back to what matters. It makes you immune to the lie that you're behind, that you're not enough, that you need more before you begin. It reminds you that the only thing standing between you and your vision is daily, disciplined action. When you really study success, not the fake kind, not the viral kind, but the real kind, you find discipline every time, in the late nights, in the early mornings, in the quiet choices to persist. That's the secret ingredient nobody wants to talk about, because it's not glamorous, it's not sexy, but it works. It always works. The gym that nobody sees, the books you read when others are partying, the meals you prep when it would be easier to eat junk, the prayers you whisper when nobody else believes, the budget you keep when others are splurging, the way you protect your time, your energy, your focus. All of that, it's discipline. It's unspoken, uncelebrated, but undefeated. You cannot outsource discipline, you can't delegate it, you can't download it. It must be owned, and when you own it, it transforms you. It reprograms your identity, it shifts your standards. It raises your tolerance for struggle and lowers your tolerance for excuses. It makes you allergic to laziness and addicted to growth. The disciplined are not made in ease, they're made in resistance. And that resistance becomes their advantage. While others are complaining, they're building. While others are waiting, they're working. While others are hoping, they're executing. Not because they're better, but because they're disciplined. Every time you want to quit, you're standing at the edge of a breakthrough. Every time you feel tired, your consistency is being tested. Every time you don't feel like it, but do it anyway, your character is being forged. And that's what success demands. Not your comfort, not your convenience, but your consistency. So the next time you feel inspired, good, use it. but let it push you into something deeper. Let it lead you to discipline, because that's the only thing that turns a dream into destiny. Everything else is just decoration. 2. If you're not willing to be uncomfortable, you're not ready to be unstoppable. There's a hard truth that success never apologizes for. It requires discomfort. It thrives in places where most people give up. It shows up when you push past your breaking point, not when you play it safe. If you want to be unstoppable, you must be willing to be uncomfortable consistently, relentlessly, without complaint. Comfort is the enemy of greatness, and if you insist on staying where it feels good, you will never go where it gets great. Success doesn't visit the comfortable, it visits the committed. And commitment is proven not when everything is working in your favor, but when nothing is. It's easy to stay focused when life feels easy. It's easy to stay on the path when the sun is shining and the wind is at your back. But the difference between average and unstoppable is not how they perform when conditions are perfect. It's what they do when the storm rolls in, when progress feels slow, when critics get loud, when doubt creeps in and fear rises up. That's when champions are born not in comfort, but in chaos. Discomfort is the training ground of destiny. Every breakthrough begins with a breakdown. Every elevation begins with a stretch, and stretching hurts. Growth isn't gentle, it's gritty. It's filled with tension, with unfamiliarity, with pain. But pain is not the problem, avoiding it is. Because when you run from discomfort, you're running from your development. You're protecting your present at the cost of your potential. You will never find greatness wrapped in ease. Success demands that you get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That means stepping into rooms where you don't feel qualified. It means embracing challenges that threaten your confidence. It means starting things before you feel ready, and staying with them long after your feelings fade. The ones who rise are not the ones with the best plans, but the ones with the most resilience. They're the ones who dare to face what most people flee. Pain is the price for purpose. Discomfort is the evidence that you're pressing into something that matters. If you feel stretched, uncertain, exposed, that's a good sign. It means you're not playing small. It means you're not coasting. It means you're leaning into something worth fighting for. But if everything feels easy, then ask yourself, am I really growing or just maintaining? Because growth is never easy. It's demanding, it's exhausting, it's disruptive, but it's also necessary. Think about it. Every story of triumph starts in tension. The athlete who wakes up before dawn, pushing through soreness and fatigue. The student who studies late into the night while friends party. The entrepreneur who risks comfort and certainty to build something from scratch. None of them found success on a silver platter. They found it in struggle. They found it in discipline. They found it in moments where they could have quit, but chose to keep going. You will never become what you're capable of becoming if you always seek what feels good. The path to being unstoppable is not found in what is comfortable, but in what is necessary. It means doing what others won't. It means embracing the awkward silence, the delayed gratification, the failed attempts. Most people stop at the first sign of discomfort, but those who are relentless see pain as progress. They use it. They grow through it. They make it part of their process. If you want to be unstoppable, you have to train yourself to move toward discomfort, not away from it. Lean into the hard conversations. Sign up for the big responsibilities. Take on the tasks that stretch your limits. Stop waiting until you feel ready. Readiness is a lie. No one ever feels fully ready. They just decide that the cost of staying the same is greater than the fear of failing. Fear will always offer you comfort as a compromise. It will say, stay small, stay safe, don't risk it. But fear is not your friend, it's a thief. It steals potential, kills momentum, and locks you inside a prison disguised as peace. But peace doesn't come from hiding, it comes from conquering. Real peace is found after the storm, not in the avoidance of it. And that storm is necessary. It's how your strength is proven. It's how your mind is refined. It's how your purpose is confirmed. The ones who achieve what others only admire are the ones who made a decision to embrace discomfort as a way of life. They stopped avoiding the grind. They welcomed the pressure. They let the fire refine them instead of running from it. Because they knew that pain is not permanent, it's preparation. And when you shift your perspective, discomfort becomes a doorway, not a dead end. Growth lives in the gap between where you are and where you're called to be. And that gap is filled with discomfort. You will have to let go of what's familiar. You will have to lose some friends. You will have to say no to good things to say yes to great ones. You will have to disappoint people who want to keep you comfortable. But if you want to grow, you must be willing to be misunderstood, to be criticized, to be uncomfortable. The journey to becoming unstoppable is one of transformation. And transformation never happens in comfort zones. Caterpillars don't become butterflies without confinement. Diamonds aren't made without pressure. Muscles aren't built without tearing. And you won't become what you're meant to be without walking through fire. But don't fear the fire, be forged by it. You have to train your mind to expect discomfort, to welcome challenge, to pursue difficulty, because the discomfort you're avoiding might be the exact assignment that unlocks your next level. That difficult person, that delayed timeline, that unfamiliar task, it's not in the way. It is the way. It's the path through which you become the version of yourself that can carry what you've been praying for. People talk about wanting strength, but forget that strength is forged in strain. You can't build mental toughness on soft circumstances. You can't build grit without resistance. You can't become unshakable if you've never been shaken. The trials you avoid are the testimonies you never get to tell. The mountains you refuse to climb are the milestones you'll never reach. If you want the reward, you must accept the requirement, discomfort. Being unstoppable doesn't mean you never feel fear or fatigue. It means you don't obey it. It means you keep going when others fold. It means you move forward with trembling hands and knocking knees. It means you face the hard things on purpose, because you understand that the goal is not comfort, it's capacity. And capacity is only increased through struggle. The uncomfortable seasons are where character is revealed. Anyone can look confident when life is smooth. But who are you when it's hard? Who are you when it's not working? Who are you when progress is invisible? That's when you find out what you're really made of. And if you've trained yourself to endure, to persist, to push, then you'll rise. You'll keep climbing, you'll keep building. Because your comfort doesn't control you, your conviction does. Don't mistake temporary pain for permanent failure. Most people quit too soon. They tap out in discomfort when the breakthrough was just around the corner. They confuse struggle with a sign to stop, when it was really a signal to keep going. If you want to be unstoppable, you have to learn how to suffer with purpose. You have to know how to carry your cross without complaining. You have to learn to see discomfort not as punishment, but as preparation. Nobody said it would be easy, but it will be worth it. The results you want live on the other side of resistance. The life you desire requires a death to comfort. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it's hard. But that's the price of rising. And when you accept that, you become dangerous. Because nothing can stop a person who's no longer afraid of being uncomfortable. So challenge yourself to do what feels unnatural, to step into unfamiliar waters, to speak even when your voice shakes, to act even when your confidence wavers, to show up even when you feel invisible. That's how you build endurance. That's how you build strength. That's how you become unstoppable. The world will tell you to protect your peace, but what they mean is protect your comfort. Real peace doesn't come from staying the same, it comes from growing, from knowing you gave it everything, from stretching into every ounce of your potential, from standing in the fire and realizing you didn't burn, you were built. Unstoppable people don't wait for comfort, they chase calling. They don't wait until it feels good, they move because it's right. They don't wait for signs, they make sacrifices. And that's why they rise. That's why they win. That's why they stand out. Because they've made peace with discomfort. They've decided that pain is part of the process. And they show up anyway. Keep going, keep stretching, keep enduring. Comfort never made a legacy. Discomfort is the gate, walk through it, keep walking, and don't look back. 3. The battle is in your mind before it ever shows up in your life. Everything you're fighting for, dreaming about, or striving to become starts in your mind. The real war is never in your circumstances, your background, or your environment. The real war is in your thoughts. Before you ever win or lose on the outside, the victory or the defeat is decided on the inside. Because the battlefield of life is first fought and won in the battlefield of the mind. If your mind is filled with doubt, you'll never move in confidence. If your thoughts are dominated by fear, you'll hesitate at every opportunity. If you believe you're not worthy, no amount of external success will ever satisfy you. That's why people can have the job, the house, the Quran, still feel empty. That's why others with less live more fulfilled lives. It's not about what's around you, it's about what's in you. And what's in you is shaped by what you allow to dwell in your mind. Your thoughts are not passive, they are powerful. They are seeds. What you plant, you will harvest. Think defeat, reap discouragement. Think purpose, reap perseverance. Think fear, reap paralysis. Think faith, reap fire. Your life will follow the direction of your dominant thoughts. So if you don't like the direction your life is going, check the GPS of your mind. What's guiding you? What's driving you? What are you meditating on when no one's watching? Every giant you face in life is first confronted in your thinking. You can't slay a giant with a grasshopper mentality. You can't lead with a follower's mindset. You can't build something big while thinking small. That's why the enemy doesn't start with your body, he starts with your beliefs. Because if he can convince you to settle, you'll sabotage yourself. If he can convince you to quit in your head, he never has to fight you in reality. He doesn't have to destroy your destiny, just has to distract your mind. The most dangerous lies are not the ones the world tells you, they're the ones you tell yourself. I'm not enough. I'm too late. I missed my moment. I'll never get out of this. I can't recover. Those lies grow if they go unchallenged. But here's the truth. Your mind is not a hotel for every thought that knocks. You don't have to entertain every idea. You don't have to let negative voices take up residence in your head. You are the gatekeeper of your mind, and what you allow to stay will shape your story. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about confronting it with faith. You can acknowledge the facts without surrendering to fear. You can be aware of your weaknesses without being owned by them. You can have bad days without becoming a bitter person. The key is to take every thought captive and not casually, but aggressively. Because if you don't rule your mind will rule you. Think about this. Most battles you face are not between you and someone else. They're between the version of you that believes and the version of you that doubts. Between the voice that says, go for it, and the voice that says, you're not ready. Between the dreamer in you and the doubter in you. And whichever one you feed more is the one that grows stronger. Starve the doubt. Feed the fire. You can't live a powerful life with a poisoned mind. You can't carry peace when your thoughts are polluted. That's why mental discipline isn't optional, it's essential. Train your mind like you train your body. What are you consuming every day? Are you scrolling through negativity or feeding on inspiration? Are you replaying past mistakes or rehearsing future victories? Are you hanging around people who drain your confidence or those who ignite your courage? Mental transformation is a daily decision. You have to wake up every morning and choose what kind of mind you're going to carry into the world. Are you going to walk in defeat or in dominion? Are you going to shrink back or step up? Are you going to give up or grow through it? Your habits start in your thoughts. Your discipline begins in your decisions. Your next level is waiting, but it requires a new mindset. Because here's the truth. You can't go higher with the same old thoughts. You can't become new while dragging around old perspectives. You can't move forward if your mind is still stuck in backward thinking. The prison is not always around you, sometimes it's inside you. And until you break free in your mind, you'll never break through in your life. Most people live in mental autopilot. They don't challenge their assumptions, they don't question their patterns, they don't confront their excuses. And so they live the same year 40 times and call it a life. But those who rise, those who become unshakable, are the ones who master their inner world. They talk back to the fear. They override the insecurity. They refuse to let the temporary become permanent. Just because you had a bad moment doesn't mean you have a bad mind. You can clean your thoughts, you can renew your focus, you can rebuild your self-belief, but you have to do the work. You have to be intentional. You have to fight for it because your mind won't default to greatness. It defaults to safety, to scarcity, to survival. And if you don't disrupt that cycle, you'll settle. Not because you weren't capable, but because you weren't conscious. The truth is, nobody ever became great by accident. They had to see it first within. They had to believe when there was no evidence. They had to walk in the direction of their vision, even when reality mocked them. That takes mental toughness. That takes endurance. That takes repetition. You have to coach yourself every day. I will not quit. I will not fold. I will not let fear drive this story. You have to fight back, not with your fists, but with your focus. Even your relationships flow from your mind. You attract what you believe you deserve. You allow what you think is normal. You repeat what you never healed. If your mind is full of chaos, your connections will be too. If your mind is full of peace, you'll stop tolerating things that violate it. That's why mental clarity is not selfish. It's strategic. The clearer your mind, the stronger your boundaries, the deeper your relationships, and the more intentional your life becomes. Every time you elevate your thinking, you upgrade your life. You stop seeing problems as punishments and start seeing them as preparation. You stop reacting to everything and start responding with wisdom. You stop chasing validation and start walking in purpose. That's the power of a renewed mind. It sets you free. It shifts your posture. It prepares you for what you once thought was impossible. The most important work you'll ever do is the work inside your own mind. That's where your vision lives. That's where your peace is protected. That's where your destiny is shaped. So don't neglect it. Don't downplay it. And don't hand it over to people who don't have the authority to direct your life. Your thoughts are your responsibility. Guard them like your future depends on it, because it does. When the pressure comes, your mind will decide how you respond. When the disappointment hits, your thoughts will determine whether you break or build. When the opportunity arises, your beliefs will dictate whether you seize it or sabotage it. Every moment of life is filtered through the lens of your mind, so sharpen it, clean it, challenge it. Fill it with truth, saturate it with vision, and most importantly, own it. Because if you win the battle in your mind, the rest will follow.